Fast fashion. Apparently, it's so hard to decide whether buying from fast fashion retailers is good or bad that Shein, one of the largest contributors to fast fashion, was trending on Twitter this past week. And seeing a lot of the tweets relating to Shein's trending status on Twitter really made me move just one step further to deleting the app permanently. Because some of the takes people had about Shein and buying from fast fashion was just god awful since it was trending this week, and it's honestly constantly like a topic that is being discussed online. I figured I'd just make a video about it and just be said and done with it because, to be honest, I'm a little bit sick of talking about it over and over again. So if you don't know what fast fashion is, let's do a quick introduction on it, I guess. I feel like at this point you probably know what it is. Maybe you don't know its full impacts, but I will obviously be telling you those because, well, it's not so great. It's a term used to describe the clothing industry's business model of replicating recent catwalk trends and high fashion designs, mass producing them at a low cost and bringing them to retail stores quickly while demand is at its highest. They basically produce very low quality garments. Most of the time it's low quality clothes made of synthetic fibers the majority of the time because those are the cheapest to manufacture and mass produce is stuff like polyester. They mass produce it at an astronomical scale. I mean, a huge scale. And they're also extremely, extremely cheap. Like, I'm talking $5 for a t-shirt. Hey, a t-shirt does not cost only $5 to produce. If a t-shirt costs $5, you can bet your bottom dollar that the only people benefiting from that t-shirt are the top people at that company. Nobody is getting paid. No ethical practices are being performed at these companies. So how do you tell if a brand is fast fashion? Polluting and cheap fibers. The most sustainable fabrics are obviously bio-based. Low garment quality. So you ever feel a shirt from like Forever 21 and it feels like you're touching paper, but also like plastic at the same time? It kind of feels like this. Like this is obviously made out of plastic. That's how the shirt feels. That's not how a shirt is supposed to feel. It's obviously shit. The stitching is bad, which is just abhorrent in the sense of fashion as a whole. Fashion is an important thing for a lot of people, and designing high quality clothes is a lot of people's dream to do that. And then they are selling these clothes and making so much money off of it. Just looks bad. Hey, I hate Mondays shirts. I love tacos. That's what Forever 21 says. It's not even, like, the clothes don't even look good. Like, arguably, they don't look good fashion-wise. What else? Lack of transparency. If you ask them, hey, how much do your workers make? And they're being very vague about it, or they're not even answering you at all, that's a pretty good indicator that the brand is not high on the ethics scale. High quantity of new styles, constantly getting new stuff in every single day, and it's always something that's like a new trend. Like some weird fucking shirt, someone shit it out of their ass, and they're like, it looks like someone just took a pair of scissors to it and cut it, and they're like, this is a new trend. Focus on trendy clothing, that's what I just said. Extremely low prices, I've mentioned that. No corporate social responsibility, low efforts in environmental protection, burning unsold clothes. This is actually a thing that the majority of brands do. Urban Outfitters, Old Navy, hate to break it to you if you shop there, but they've been in many scandals. Them and tons of other companies have been in tons of scandals where they have been caught chopping up old clothes and then throwing them in the dumpster so dumpster divers can't get the clothes, burning them so nobody can get these unsold clothes, instead of donating them to a place where people need clothes or trying to resell them. Nope, they're not going to let anyone have it. If I can't sell these clothes for a profit,
nobody can have it.
Fuck you poor people out there. Absence of certifications, greenwashing, those are all ways you can tell if you guys want to know and keep an eye out for it. The reason you want to keep an eye out for it is because fast fashion is god-awful, and I've a little bit mentioned it in this video, but if you don't know, let's get into it and why it's really, really bad. I have this article from Bloomberg, and I'm going to link this article down below. I'm going to link everything down below. This is honestly a really, really cool article. I've had it open for like a couple minutes. At the bottom of the article, it says, since you open this page, blank pieces of clothing have been thrown away or destroyed. Now, I just said I've had this open for a couple of minutes. 715,000, 720,000. It just keeps going up and up every second. The US specifically. throws away 11.3 million tons of textile waste each year. That's around 2,150 pieces of clothing each second. So that's why this is piling up so badly at the bottom of this page. Studies have shown people throw out clothing after wearing items an average of 7 to 10 times. In 2015, polyester production for clothing emitted 282 billion tons of carbon dioxide, triple that of cotton. According to data from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, the amount of clothing and footwear waste generated by Americans each year ballooned from around 1.4 million tons in 1960 to over 13 million tons in 2018. Around 70% of that clothing ended up in landfills, while only 13% was recycled into either new clothing or for other use. H&M came under fire in 2018 for disclosing in its annual report that it had accumulated 4.3 billion of unsold inventory. In the years since, its stockpile has remained roughly at the same level. In 2017, a Swedish power plant abandoned coal as a source of fuel, instead burning mountains of discarded clothing from H&M.
Hii mtumba tunaokotanga. Ukiokota unaweza ukikuja nazo kwa begi unakagua ile mzuri unafua. Ukishafua unakagua ile mzuri, unaweza peleka kwa nyumba watoto wavae, mimi mwenyewe napata ya kuvaa. Tena kuna watu kuja kununua zingine. Sasa nyumba bakisha wanakuja wanachukua wanakupe pesa. Zingine tunavaa tukifanya kazi.
20 to 30% of the, for example, the bills that come from the global north is pure trash. So that's the problem that we are talking about, the waste, the textile waste problem.
The fabrics that they use to produce these clothes are synthetic fibers, and these synthetic fibers are produced from fossil fuels, which is also harming the environment in the long run, and also the people who make these clothes, and us who wear them. So we really want brands to be accountable and to stop producing fast fashion.
I'm going to leave this article open. I'm not going to read the whole thing. There's a lot of stuff in here, but I'm going to leave it open, and I want to see how bad it is once I finish this video, which I talked for a long time, guys. I talked for a long time, so God only knows. Approximately 93 billion cubic meters of water are consumed every year in the garment industry, which would be enough to meet the needs of 5 million people. Poor working conditions. For example, the 2013 Rana Plaza collapse in Dhaka district, Bangladesh. After discovering cracks in the foundation on April 23rd, the 8-story commercial building known as Rana Plaza had an immediate evacuation of all employees and businesses. But the building owners decided to neglect these warnings and force their garment workers to return. Rana Plaza collapsed the following day. 25 people were injured and 1,134 people died from this. Those few snippets weren't bad enough for you. There's more. And I'm not going to get into all of it, or this video would go on for hours. Yeah, which brings us to our topic of Shein, which is obviously a huge brand. So there was a new undercover investigation that came out about Shein, and would you be surprised? It's not good at all. This was from an undercover investigation from Channel 4 and the I newspaper in the UK. And I'll link the I newspaper article, but it is a subscriber-only article, which is kind of ironic, if I'm being honest, but I digress. What this revealed was workers at factories in China that supplies clothes to Shein frequently work up to 18 hours a day with no weekends and just 1 day off per month, according to an undercover investigation. At one of the factories, workers get a base salary of 4,000 yuan per month, the equivalent of roughly 556 American dollars, to make it at least 500 pieces of clothing per day, but their first month's pay is withheld from them per the investigation. Many of these workers toil long hours to earn a commission of 0.14 yuan, or just 2 cents per item. Employees are hit with a fine amounting to 2/3 of their daily wages if they make even one mistake. In one of the factories, female employees wash their hair on their lunch breaks because there is so little time left after work. And people have talked about this for years, but especially recently with, unfortunately, fucking TikTok, which is another just fucking awful app that should not exist. We saw the Shein hauls in 2020, and they're still going on, unfortunately. Just want to make it clear that these people who are buying from Shein and publicly outing themselves as awful fucking human beings on TikTok were extremely, extremely privileged people because they were spending hundreds of dollars on this website. You could spend that hundreds of dollars on a few nice clothing items, or you could just not spend money on new clothes because you have the money to buy nice clothes. You just don't have the money to buy tons of nice clothes every fucking week. And now Shein has introduced a resale marketplace, which is another thing that happened this week, which also contributes to why they were trending online. While a resale marketplace is an acknowledgement of fast fashion's environmental impact, there's little sign that Shein is seeking to address the broader issues, very broad issues, that are endemic to its model. One specific thing I saw on Twitter that I want to get into, where can I shop besides Shein? And the stores that they include are also bad brands. Now, I want to highlight there is a difference between high quality fast fashion and poor quality fast fashion. Yes, fast fashion as a whole is generally poor quality, but there is a difference between Shein, which will fall apart within a couple of months, and buying an American Eagle piece of clothing that does cost more, but why did I just say that like a Jersey accent? Costs more, but it's not going to fall apart. I just wanted to highlight that there is a difference between buying high quality clothing that is produced unethically and buying poor quality clothing that's produced unethically. Which brings me to why the reasons I consider them excuses for why people don't want to shop anywhere else except fast fashion. Not having enough money to buy clothes. Yeah, before you all say I'm unsympathetic to people, I don't make a lot of money. My family doesn't make a lot of money. So I understand not being able to afford clothes, but I can still tell you with all my being, you shouldn't shop at fast fashion places. We're incredibly lucky to have thrift stores where we can just walk in and buy a shirt that only costs $5 that's used and high quality. I just want to further elaborate. I'm going to put up a graphic on the screen of what people think sustainable fashion is and what sustainable fashion actually is. As someone who's grown up in a pretty poor household, I have done these things. I still practice these things to this day. When I was younger, I remember I would buy a couple new pieces of clothes every year. I could not afford to buy new clothes every week. I would go shopping over the summer and I would buy some new clothes before school started, and I'd wear those the whole year and then I'd wear them the next school year. I think poor people tend to be more ethical in general when it comes to fashion, and a lot of sustainable fashion is commonly practiced by low-income people. If you consume more and you consume a lot and you buy a lot of clothes that are cheap and you're using the excuse that you can't afford the clothes, like I said in the video, it's just that you cannot afford to buy new clothes every week. And it's just frustrating because, like I said, as someone who has grown up and has lived a low-income life my whole life pretty much, it frustrates me when people use being poor as an excuse for not buying stuff, because the truly poor people are not the ones being unsustainable. It's people who are like middle class, who definitely have the money to save up for a nice piece of clothing, who definitely have the money to practice the stuff on the right-hand side of this graph, yet they choose not to. And those are the people who I'm really picking at in this video, not people who are literally in poverty in America or anywhere else, who literally cannot afford anything. But like I said, I honestly think if you are at that point, which I have experienced, I don't think you are gonna go online and purchase from these places, because I've never done that before. If anything, I've gone to Walmart when I couldn't afford anything, and that was it. But even when I did that, I didn't go to Walmart and buy 50 new items of clothing. I'd buy like 2 pairs of jeans, and I'd wear them the whole school year. So I just think that whole argument is just absolute bollocks, if you will. You have a privilege of being able to go online and pick what clothes you want and go to these places. These people are literally locked in their workplace. Women get fired if they become pregnant. Women are constantly sexually harassed at these places. And you have a privilege to be able to choose where you're shopping from and be able to choose what you do with your money. Leads you to the next thing. They don't have inclusive sizes. That's what people say about a lot of sustainable brands. And I will, I'll give you that. A lot of sustainable brands don't have inclusive sizes. And that's just a fact. Let's say you have money to buy sustainable clothes. There's a lot of plus size clothing brands that are sustainable. And I'll link articles down below with sustainable plus size clothing brands. Because they exist. There's a lot of them that exist, and you should go through the effort to actually find them instead of just shutting down. And I have to shop at Shein. I have to shop at H&M because there's absolutely no other place I can go to because no other place has my sizes. There are solutions, and these people are just not going through the effort to find the solutions. I hope I'm not coming across as insensitive to any of my plus size viewers out there. That is not my intent. I'm going to link down below sustainable brands that you can shop from that have plus sizes. One of my favorites is Girlfriend Collective. I bought from there. I love their stuff. And they go up to, I think, of like a 4XL. Pretty, very, very wide size range. And they have a lot of really nice, high quality clothes. And I can speak on their behalf. I'm also going to link an article, plus size influencers talking about where they shop, because I can't speak for someone who's plus size because I'm not a plus size woman. I do think you can put in a little bit more effort, and like the infographic I showed you before, like taking care of your clothes, wearing what you already have. But if you are plus size, let me know how your experience with shopping secondhand, shopping online and whatnot. I'd love to hear some of your experiences. And I don't think it's right to blame people for the climate crisis that we're in because, hey, it's not our fault. It's really not your fault either, but you still have a responsibility as a person to vote with your dollar, to choose to support a brand like this or not. And that still means something, even though this person who made this thread, she's not at fault for what's going on with the world. Billionaires are. Huge corporations are. Shein is the one at fault, not her if she maybe decided to buy a t-shirt from Shein. I understand that, but you're still voting with your dollar. You're still spending money on this place and choosing to support that place. And if you're going to comment, well, there's no ethical consumption under capitalism. Stop it right now. That saying, that phrase, means that we need to dismantle the capitalist structure that we have to live in. That doesn't mean you give up and then buy from awful places and then that's your reasoning. That's also an excuse. Like I said, to me that phrase means that people who cannot afford clothes should not exist, and that people should get paid enough to where they can buy high quality clothes, not be forced to shop at a human rights violation factory. And same thing with plus size people and fat people. They should not be forced to shop at places like this. That's what that phrase means, is that you shouldn't be forced to shop at a place like this. I shouldn't, and you shouldn't. Not, I should give up and just shop at these places because there's no hope. That's very nihilistic, and granted, I'm quite a nihilist sometimes, but I still think there's hope, and I think it's really bad messaging to say that. You have no other choice but to shop at these places. I think there's a lot of toxicity in the sustainable community of people blaming other people and people getting mad at other people for just buying something. There's a lot of nuance to these situations, and I understand that. That's why I tried to discuss all of those nuances in this video as much as possible, because it's not just you buy something brand new, you're a terrible person. It's not just you buy from Shein, you're automatically a terrible person. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it, and I don't think you should be blamed for what's going on when you're a victim in this situation. Most of the time, I'm not talking about those people who spend hundreds of dollars at Shein and stuff like that, but fast fashion is bad, okay? It's not good. So maybe don't buy from there. So let's check out this Bloomberg thing before we close it out. Since I've opened this page, 3 million pieces of clothing have been thrown away or destroyed. Give me your thoughts on this situation. What do you think about Shein and people buying from there? And I'm going to link some helpful resources down below. I'll also have all my social media down there if you want to check that out. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Really appreciate it. Leave a comment, like I said. And if you like me, you can subscribe. I make commentary videos about a lot of different stuff going on. I also make comedy videos about silly, stupid things going on. So If that sounds like your thing, subscribe, turn on your notification bell so you know when I upload a video. My throat hurts, so I'm gonna close it out. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Hope it was informative for all of you, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.